We are coming up on 7:59 on what's turning out to be a wet and pretty slow morning drive. A number of freeway cameras out here showing the drive backed up. We've got new trouble, by the way, on I-84 westbound approaching Providence Medical Center. So that's adding to the commute coming in from Troutdale. Look at that, 45 minutes now to get you in from Marine Drive and Troutdale to the I-5 split. I-5 from Wilsonville to Tualatin really thick this morning. That drive is approaching an hour now. And the drive across the Columbia River pretty slow on I-5 as well. Right now, 40 minutes to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Rod?
Well, it sounds like at least possibly the wet roads are slowing us down somewhat. The rain has been pretty steady the last couple of hours. We now have a break in the action starting to move up into Salem. You see everything's moving up to the north. It has been widespread rain, including out in the gorge. You can see, if I get out of the way, you can see the golf cart paths there pretty wet. That's Elk Ridge Golf Course out in Carson. Not much wind in the gorge until you get into the west end, and then we've got easterlies to about 25. Portland's at 52 with showers at times today. We continue to be pretty mild.
Now at 8, after 43 days, the longest government shutdown in the U.S. comes to an end. How long it will take for air travel to get back to normal? Plus,
no one deserves to get picked up. My dad was my everything.
A lot of concern voiced at Newport City Hall last night as city leaders there vow to fight back against any plans to bring a new ice facility to the Oregon coast.
then a sigh of relief for drivers taking Highway 217. The major project now finished. We take a look at the impact and later at 8:30.
You don't need makeup. You don't need to comb your hair.
Oh, all right. So far, I like the sound of this group, right? These are the Wave Chasers, women of all ages coming together to form a bodyboarding group in San Diego. We're going to have their story for you coming up this hour as we kick off the 8 o'clock hour of Sunrise right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Who else is with us? Those two guys. The boys are
Boys.
here. Chris McGinnis on traffic. Rodney with the weather report.
I was thinking if that wave crashers, is that what they call themselves?
Wave chasers.
Wave chasers. Now, if they do that in Seaside, then you've got a story. A lot colder up here than down in San Diego. We've got some dry weather coming up from our south. You can see the break right here. Everything's moving up to the north. So it's been pretty wet the last several hours. It's been kind of a steady, mostly light rain. We've got some drying starting to take place up towards Salem right now. Raindrops still reported, though, at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. Light winds. Here's a look at downtown Portland, and raindrops still reported as well. And we are at 52. So it's not going to be raining all day. If our Futurecast models are correct, this afternoon is actually more dry than wet, with just some more widely scattered showers at times. Temperatures 57 to noon, might get up to 60. I've got us 57 at 5 p.m. Chris?
Rod, the rain likely having an impact on the morning commute at this point. We've got lots of slow spots out there. We'll take you over to the west side. This is live out in Beaverton, right? Highway 26 inbound. You hit the slowing between Tannisbourne and Murray Boulevard. Right now our speed sensors show that eastbound commute at Murray about 14 miles an hour or so. Switching gears down to the south, down in the Bridgeport Village area, we had an earlier report of a fender bender there. I couldn't find it on camera, but what you do see is about a 4-mile line of really slow traffic from the Boone Bridge up to the I-205 interchange. So you'll need extra time there as well. This is the live look right now near Norwood, the Norwood overpass. We're up to 52 minutes to get you in from Wilsonville. And last but not least, out of Clark County, it's raining there as well. I-5 from Main Street south of the Fremont Bridge is up to 40 minutes at last check. China?
Thank you, Chris. House members passed a bill to reopen the federal government, ending the longest shutdown in U.S. history after 43 days.
The Senate passed the bill on Monday. The House approved it last night, and President Trump sealed the deal, signing off on the bill at the White House. NBC's Alice Barr has more for us from Washington, D.C.
With a vote in the House,
the bill is passed,
and a presidential signature overnight. The longest government shutdown in U.S. history is now over.
the federal government will now resume normal operations.
Furloughed federal workers getting back on the job today after 43 days. They and those who worked without pay waiting to hear when their back pay checks will arrive. as airlines work to return to full capacity. The FAA freezing flight reductions at 6% instead of the planned 10% by Friday, with easing staffing shortages set to gradually unsnarl weeks of delays and cancellations.
I think it's horrible how politicians, all of them, use us as pawns.
SNAP federal food assistance will also grind back into gear for the millions of Americans still waiting for their full November payments, turning to food banks instead.
Massive increases in families needing our assistance.
As the consequences unwind, the two parties pointing blame at each other.
Absolutely no question in anybody's mind now that the Democrats were responsible for this.
Donald Trump and Republicans made the decision to shut the government down. Would rather do that than provide health care that's affordable.
As Democrats face their own divisions over the deal moderates in the Senate reached with Republicans that did not include health care reforms, an issue Republicans say they're now ready to address with the government back in business. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And Oregon's members of Congress all voted along party lines, with the state's sole Republican in the House, Cliff Benz, being the only one to support the bill. And Washington Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez was one of only 6 Democrats in the House to support the bill, ending the shutdown, saying in part, quote, "The last several weeks have been a case study in why most Americans can't stand Congress. None of my friends who rely on SNAP would want to trade their dinner for an ambiguous D.C. Beltway messaging victory. I'm glad this ugly scene is in the rearview mirror."
People on the Oregon coast are voicing their concerns about reports of a new ICE facility coming to Newport.
Hundreds attended a city hall meeting last night. Center reporter Thomas Schultz joins us now. So Thomas, what do Newport residents think about this idea?
Well, guys, at that meeting last night, many were emotional and tears were even shed as hundreds of people gathered in City Hall to push back against any plan for an ICE facility in Newport. Now, it's important to note here, there's still a lot that we don't know about what could actually happen here. Elected leaders in Newport described the feds, though, as working in the shadows with zero transparency. One young girl who spoke says her father is currently in ICE detention.
No one deserves to get picked up. My dad was my everything.
My God, that's what we're fighting for. That her father was dragged in the street, hauled off, and that impacted this whole community.
Newport Mayor Jan Kaplan says he'll fight any plans to add an ICE facility. He says the city was tipped off last week when a third party filed a letter of intent to lease several acres near the airport for federal use. But on Wednesday, the city said that letter of intent had been withdrawn. Still, state leaders say federal contractors have submitted business inquiries, signaling that this plan is still in motion. Mayor Kaplan says that he's reached out to the federal government for more information. State leaders say they've done the same. But the thing is, so far, they haven't heard anything. They haven't had any answers to their questions. So yesterday, they submitted a letter to the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem for more clarity. They haven't heard back yet. We have also reached out to the DHS on Tuesday. We didn't hear back either to our request for comments about our questions as well. Guys.
All right, Thomas Schultz, we appreciate that update here this morning.
At least 24 people that are part of the vibrant community of Salem were ripped away from their families early in the morning.
That is some of the reaction from an immigrants' rights coalition in Salem after it says federal agents detained at least 24 people in Oregon's capital city earlier this week. The coalition says at least 9 of the people taken from a van on Tuesday were farm workers heading to work. The advocates accuse ICE agents of breaking the van's windows and also ramming another car near Portland Road and Ward Drive.
We want to make sure that people have access to their attorneys. We want to make sure that families are prepared because it's really scary what's happening right now.
We're working at this point to get the names of the people who were detained and find out more about their status. So far, both ICE and Homeland Security have not responded to KGW's request for comment.
Our sister station Seattle has called the race for Seattle Mayor for Katie Wilson the progressive challenger to incumbent Bruce Harrell. Following last night's ballot drop, Wilson extended her lead over Harrell to just under 2,000 votes, meaning her lead is greater than the ballots left to count. Harrell has not yet conceded. He's expected to address the city today.
A Washington school district says it wants to make kindergarten fun again. So the Tumwater School District moved to make play-based kindergarten mandatory this year. The district says adding 1 hour of free playtime every day helps foster crucial developmental skills like social interaction, communication, and focus, and the district says it's already seen a reduction in behavioral problems.
The kids definitely are more engaged, they're more regulated, they are having more agency in what they're doing, and they're definitely calmer, more available for learning.
The school district plans to evaluate the program after 3 years before they determine whether or not to make it permanent. So I ask you, my friends, China Green and Rod Hill, if we're going to put together some, what's that?
That's the way kindergarten used to be. Did we change it? Now we realize we shouldn't have?
Well, did every kindergarten always have the dedicated 1 hour of free playtime every day?
My kindergarten memories are playing and having a great time.
I played with rice.
Yeah. I'm sure we had the playtime, but I don't know if it was a 1 hour. Who knows? I don't know. But let me ask you this.
Continue, Mr. Carter.
Rice player. If I was to invite you to one game out in the schoolyard, would you rather play kickball or duck, duck, goose?
I would ruin both of you at kickball.
No.
I would hand your caboose on a platter.
Oh, really? No, I don't think so. I don't know why, but I was good at kicking the ball for both distance and height.
But could you catch?
Oh yeah, I'm good at catching the
No, I
kickball
don't
too.
think
No, okay.
How about Foursquare? Did you play that in school, China? Foursquare?
We had it, but we didn't play
I was down
it.
there.
We had
I was killing it in kickball.
What was the thing where you tetherball?
Tetherball, yeah.
You kept hitting it and then you would
Yeah, I was
dodge
good
it.
at that.
That is a dangerous game, my friends.
Yeah, you can get your
bell rung.
Your face whacked off there if you're not careful. Yeah. All right. Satellite radar. Hey, what I'm watching now is that it's been raining, mostly gentle in Portland, Vancouver, Salem for the past several hours, but now we got some dry time working up from our south. Everything all day that comes in will be moving south to north. So if you're getting ready to leave the house right now, it's raining more than not up towards Seattle on I-5. But again, we've got dry time just starting to work into parts of Marion County. This shows up on our closer look at Doppler radar as well. And if our futurecast models are right, there's more dry time this afternoon than wet. So maybe what we're now seeing the end of is the wettest part of our day. It's certainly possible. It's been raining at the coast as well. Here's Depot Bay and the camera from the Channel House looking at 101 and downtown. Doesn't look that bad. Good visibility. Not much wind. I mean, at most, even at the beach today, winds are going to be occasionally 10 to 20, but mostly 5 to 15. Here is some rain out over the reserve. Yeah, that looks kind of wet. You got some workers out there in one of the sand traps, it looks like, over the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club in Aloha. Our forecast today, we get up to about 60, and a reminder, this showery pattern will now be with us into the weekend. Here's Chris.
Well, Rod, I'm sitting here messing on the traffic computer trying to highlight all the slow spots, and I'm running out of time. Like literally.
Well, it looks bad.
Morning. So let's go ahead and get a look at it right now with the rain out there. All four of my cameras, and there's lots more of these to show that are slow in the rain, and that's our latest trouble spot. This is I-84 westbound approaching the Hollywood district. ODOT's there with a disabled vehicle or a possible fender bender. So the inbound right lane is blocked and the traffic is really thick now out towards the Gateway district. So give yourself some extra time getting in from the east side. Also coming up from Wilsonville, let's take you down there. No, I didn't want to go there. I want to go there. Go down. Let's go. See, there we go. All right, I-5 through Tualatin right now, also really thick. That trip coming in from Wilsonville at last report is up to about 52 minutes. I promise we'll get there. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. You are going to be waiting for it if you're hopping on the roads right now. 52 minutes, Wilsonville Road into downtown. China?
Thank you, Chris. Ahead on Sunrise, more fallout from Jeffrey Epstein's released emails that mention President Trump, how the White House is reacting. But first, what inspired a local nonprofit to serve kids who've experienced crime, abuse, and neglect, and how you can help this holiday season.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On weather impact alert days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
What you can't see. What you can't see right now is Rod Hill just off to the side. Squeeze yourself in here, Rod. He's over here dancing to the toy drive music, clapping his hands, shaking his backside. My gosh, he's excited about the toy drive's arrival. This morning, Rod, you'll be happy to hear, we're shining the spotlight on one of the more than 140 nonprofit organizations that help us distribute the toys to local kids.
So Angels in the Outfield works to give kids not just toys, but a sense of love during the holidays. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson showing us the process for making their season brighter. Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, China. Drew, Angels in the Outfield, a nonprofit in Oregon City, is working year-round to make sure that children ages infants to 18-year-olds feel seen and celebrated during the holiday season with toys just like this. Take a look.
Angels in the Outfield was started by my wife, Shannon Kometic, when she was a prosecutor and had the unfortunate job of putting away into prison a mother and a father who did harmful things to their daughter, just horrible things that nobody should have to go through.
Tim Rash, Shannon's husband, says that case became the catalyst for Shannon's mission to make sure every child has a Merry Christmas despite crime, abuse, displacement, or neglect.
Tens of thousands of children have benefited from that one moment in time.
As part of the nonprofit, community members have come together to collect toys for children who may not receive anything otherwise. With Christmas less than 2 months away, Angels in the Outfield volunteers are hard at work.
We love the relationship that we have with KGW because we're about to put together, what's behind me here is everything or parts of what we need for 1,400 of these kids to receive a holiday this year.
And these aren't just random gifts. Every child gets a personalized present, ordered by age, gender, and tailored to their interests. Each one also receives a coat, pajamas, and a blanket, an effort that takes all year to build up to.
January 1st, I'm online trying to get coats and toys and things for next year.
Carol Glenn helps to sort the toys as soon as they're collected. Then at Oregon City Church, which also doubles as Santa's workshop, volunteers shop for each child.
It's set up basically like a store. So when our volunteers come in, they'll get an individual sheet for each child.
On December 12th and 13th, volunteers will get together to bag up all of those toys collected and enough time to get them under the tree on Christmas morning. It's work that makes a meaningful difference in the lives of children who receive them.
I was at a fundraising event last year where this man came up to the table to ask me what Angels does, and he kind of got quiet for a second, and then he looked at me and he said, I was one of those kids. Strangers out there had gotten those things for me. I didn't know where they came from, but they came and it really meant a lot to me.
Now, Angels in the Outfield is still collecting donations right now to put in those bags for children of all ages. They say they receive a lot of presents for infants. They're looking also for more gifts and donations for teenagers, maybe some bikes like this for some young boys, some makeup. Other requests that they get is room decor as well, or they may even enjoy some toys like these, Drew and China. Take a look at this if I can get it to work. How cool is that? I don't know, whether I'm a teenager or a young kid, these are super cool.
It's cool because the batteries apparently are included. I hate it when you get those toys and you try to make it go and, oh, there's no batteries. Now I gotta wait. All right, Corey Johnson live in the toy box this morning doing a great job with our toy drive update. One more important note here, we have an easy way for you to help out. You can go to this webpage, kgw.com/toy. At that site, you can make both a cash donation or you can buy a toy from our wish list. So a couple of options there. You can also drop off new unwrapped toys at any IQ credit union, any Fred Meyer, or any local Toyota dealership. Last hour when Corey was in the toy box, she had that basketball and I said, oh, I can spin it on my fingers. And I've been struggling ever since.
But there was one take you did, it wasn't on camera, but you were really good. You went well over 5 seconds.
I appreciate that, buddy.
Well over 5 seconds?
I think so.
Well over 5 seconds.
What is the problem here?
Okay, we don't have time for this, do we, China? Let's go to the weather. I mean, Drew, we gave you a shot.
No, you did.
We did. You're done, pal. All right, here we go. There's a big fancy monitor right there. I can't, coming at you. Now I got to get serious. That's a pretty good pass, really. All right, what to watch for? Showers each day now, all the way through the weekend. No big storms. We've been talking about this. Snow levels high, 8,000 today. Good grief, that's really up there. And then even over the weekend, I think for the most part, up to 5,000 feet. That's Government Camp, Santiam, Willamette. The passes will just be on the wet side. I mean, right now it's 44 up at Government Camp. And this is a developing story that I'm starting to hit hard, and that is the fact there's basically no snow at 6,000 feet, with the weather models showing, well, they just don't show it. They don't show snow coming in enough that would make it possible to have any skiing or boarding over Thanksgiving weekend. Clearly, there's 2 weeks from now, and the models could change. But I'm telling you right now, it does not look promising at all for Thanksgiving, even partial openings. So we'll continue to follow that story. As story of the wet spot, 59/100ths of an inch so far, less than 1/10 of an inch of rain in our immediate area up and down I-5 until you get up to Kelso, then 12/100ths. You've got 44/100ths that's fallen up in Olympia. The pattern, the meat of this system is the low that's right here, producing heavy rain into California. It all comes south to north, but the only rain pocket we've had so far that's been heavy has been over on the north coast. It's been mostly gentle rain. And look at this dry break, and Futurecast backs this up. So we got some drying starting to come into about Salem. Here's 8 o'clock this morning. Look what happens. Here we are at 1 this afternoon. Here we are later in the day. Some rain, but very little. So if this is correct, the wettest part of our day is what we are right now getting through, with the last several hours being mostly a steady, gentle rainfall. Weather models still show about 1/2 of an inch on average for Portland, Salem, and Vancouver in terms of total rain from today through Sunday. So that's not much. That backs up the notion that none of these days are overly wet in terms of how much rain is going to fall in your rain gauge. The bricks are wet, and of course we're celebrating the Christmas tree now up. They're going to continue assembling the branches and getting the decorations, and we'll light that tree 2 weeks from tomorrow. 52 in Kelso, Portland, Salem, Eugene. Well, that's uniform. 61 in John Day. Good grief, that's warm. That'd be warm for a high, right? This afternoon shows John Day about 60, so steady temps. Everybody has clouds. Everybody has the ongoing chance of getting some rain in the forecast today. I've got east winds coming out of the gorge in the East Multnomah County to about 25 miles per hour. Away from that immediate opening of the gorge, so winds are 5 to 15. There's not much wind expected along the coast either. We've got showery weather, rain at times through Sunday. Tomorrow, very light rain totals expected. Rain could pick up and become the heaviest Sunday afternoon, but that front, Chris, could come in on Monday. So that would taper off the rain on Sunday. So we'll see.
Get half of a dry weekend in there then, right? All right, well, here's the deal with the traffic. In a nutshell, it's not great out there this morning. We've got lots of slow spots in the rain. The rain definitely adding to our slowing this morning. I-5 from Hazeldale, the lineup actually hits you right around Main Street, and that southbound commute is upwards of about 40 minutes or so to get you in. Well, there you go, 39 minutes, Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Over on the east side, there's a couple trouble spots on I-84 westbound. We've got a fender bender just west of Halsey right now that has the right lane blocked, and traffic really thick out to I-205. And speaking of I-5 near 205, this is in Tualatin. That northbound commute from Wilsonville at last check is just shy of an hour in the rain this morning. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Welcome back. The White House is pushing back after House Democrats released more than 20,000 pages of documents from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, including some that mention President Donald Trump. In 2011, 4 years before the president announced his run for presidency, Epstein emailed his co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, writing, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump." A name is redacted here, but it goes on to say that that person, quote, "spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned." The White House says that the redacted name is Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's most prominent accusers.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. It is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign.
Giuffre, who died by suicide earlier this year, never accused Trump of wrongdoing.
Coming up next at 8:30, why ODOT officials may have to shelve the I-5 Rose Quarter project that aims to reconnect Portland's Albina neighborhood. And we're also talking flu season in our next half hour. We'll share the warning from health officials.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW+. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW+. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Good morning, I'm China Green. The CEO of a local environmental tech company who caused mayhem on I-5 has cut a deal with prosecutors. One that means he's now walking free. In June, Alexander Wick slashed tires through traffic cones, threatened drivers, and claimed to have a homemade bomb. Turns out that it was a soda keg packed with nails and bleach. A judge found him guilty yesterday, but as a plea deal, Wick was sentenced to 100 days in jail, time already served, so he was released immediately.
Well, I'm sorry, China.
Over you.
I'm just going to go. Here we go. Weather time. We've got rain moving up to the north. We've got some dry time coming up from our south. Futurecast does back that up. So if true, what we're just now starting to get out of is going to be remembered as the wettest part of our day. Not nearly as wet this afternoon. In fact, a little bit of brightness now from Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. There's downtown Portland with the cloud cover. Very mild. We're at 52 degrees. Temperatures in the 50s to maybe getting back up to 60 today. Again, showers continue to be possible.
Well, my friends, it is not every day we start the 8:30 half hour with a story from Idaho, but we're doing that here because of these goats.
Yeah.
A family in Idaho adopted the goats. I guess dogs or cats would have made too much sense, right?
Pet of the day.
Yeah, there you go. Their neighborhood, though, has fallen in love with the goats. So the owners let their neighbors help out with feeding and walking, and apparently, when they're not out on a stroll, people can also follow the goats at home because their family has set up a 24/7 live stream. No end in sight to the following of the goats. There they go on this Thursday morning. China, what do we say to those goats?
Good morning.
That's good. Very good. Very good.
I don't know why I didn't see that coming, but I didn't.
Me neither.
Startled.
Come on, fellas.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Right now, it's starting to look like this is the wettest part of our day, and it's almost over. We're going to see the rain begin to break up. It's been, for Portland, more of a gentle rain, but it's been widespread for hours, and Chris is following me, but he's got a lot of slow spots. We've had heavy rain over a half of an inch, approaching 3/4 in Astoria, but we do have some dry time to our south. So if that's true, this afternoon will be more of a widely scattered shower pattern than what we have seen this morning. Now, still raindrops on the lens in Salem, 52. Winds are calm. There's downtown Portland with light rain still falling, and 52, crazy mild, 52 degrees right now. 57 at noon, about 57 at 5 o'clock. We could get up to 60. It's been 60 degrees in the last hour in John Day. So this shows John Day, you folks at 59 at 4 p.m. this afternoon. But you can see everybody's mild with cloud cover and at least some showery weather in the forecast. Notice Timberline 39. It's going to be rain up to about 8,000 feet on the mountain today. So that's obviously well above Cascade Passes. And we don't have much wind. There's an east breeze to about 20, 25 coming out of the gorge. Even at the beach today, winds probably no stronger than 10 to 20 miles per hour from the southeast at times. So we could get to 60. We'll be close. Tomorrow's rain forecast still looks to be light showers. Models are giving Portland only 5/100ths of an inch of rain or less tomorrow. So that's not a bad day. And then showers pick up maybe somewhat on Saturday and then Sunday. The question on the 7-day really is there's that front that all the models show being maybe a pretty good shot of some heavier rain. But does the front come in Sunday afternoon or does it hold off until Monday? And I don't know the answer to that question. That is your forecast for now.
We'll figure that out before then, right? Out the door this morning, as Rod mentioned, it's rainy and it's really slow. I mean, lots of slow spots on the freeways this morning. Let's take you out to one of them. Believe it or not, as bad as this looks, it's getting better on Highway 26 inbound out near the Bethany area. That trip in from Hillsborough at last report, upwards of about 42 minutes. Here's one of our big slow spots this morning. I-5 through Tualatin. Northbound Wilsonville to Tualatin is especially slow. The total commute in from Wilsonville now has been hovering between 55 and 60 minutes for the last little while. Tripping from Troutdale about 40 minutes as well. And last but not least, up in Clark County, sometimes the end of the line by this time of the morning is down to the Interstate Bridge. Not today. It's rainy and it's slow all the way back to Main Street. So right now you're looking at about 42 to 45 minutes to get you in from Hazeldale. Well, if you're one of the 120,000 drivers who use Highway 217 each day, you're probably already appreciating this. ODOT saying yesterday that the major elements of the 4-year, $174 million auxiliary lane project are finished. Highway 217, once known as the Beaverton-Tigard Freeway, runs about 7.5 miles connecting Highway 26, the Sunset, to the north, and I-5 to the south. It was completed in the 70s and quickly got clogged with cars as the metro area's population boomed. ODOT's most affordable solution was to build auxiliary lanes. Those are ramp-to-ramp connectors between tightly packed on and off freeway ramps. There's 10 of them along the corridor, by the way. They're hoping that this will help reduce bottlenecks and cut down on sideswipe crashes. In fact, ODOT expects to reduce crashes by 20 to 30% and save travelers 73,000 hours of being stuck in traffic every year.
Right. This wasn't originally built as a highway. If we built one today, the on-ramps and off-ramps would be spread further apart to make it easier for people to get on and off. We don't have the space to do that, so the auxiliary lanes help with that issue.
So now that the project is mostly complete, ODOT says all the major traffic impacts are behind us. There will still be crews out on site, though, throughout the winter and even into the spring, doing some minor electrical work and, of course, some landscaping. China?
Thank you, Chris. And ODOT started work on the first phase of the I-5 Rose Quarter Improvement Project this past summer, but that project is still missing the majority of the funding it needs.
Yeah, transportation leaders are trying to figure out the best options at this point. One option is pausing the project altogether. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson covering this story for us from the KGW newsroom. Corey, there was a meeting about all this just last night.
That's right, Drew. China, the Historic Albina Advisory Board and Community Oversight Advisory Committee met with transportation leaders in Northeast Portland to talk about it. Now, the $2 billion improvement project would widen I-5 and build a 1,500-foot cover over the freeway, reconnecting and repairing the historic Albina neighborhood. But last night, ODOT officials floated the idea of potentially shelving the I-5 Rose Quarter project altogether. This after the Trump administration recently revoked nearly $450 million in federal funding grant money for that freeway cover. Now, ODOT's plan had been to first build Phase 1A, which includes stormwater improvements and the renovation of an I-5 overpass at the southern end of the Rose Quarter, followed by the rest of Phase 1. That includes some widening and about 30% of the cover. But without the grant, there will be only $167 million in construction funding left after Phase 1A is complete. That's far too little to build the entire phase, which was estimated to cost $594 million as of 2024.
We've got an administration that is looking to cut funding for a lot of projects like this and for a lot of initiatives like this, and any small foothold they can get on a lot of these projects as an excuse to claw back money, they take. And that's what they did here.
Now, ODOT says it's looking to present all possible pathways forward, which could include winding down Phase 1A of construction in 2027, putting the rest of the project on hold until they identify other funding. Now, the Oregon Transportation Commission also has a meeting scheduled for this morning at 9 to further discuss the options. China?
Corey, thank you. And ODOT Director Chris Strickler announced that he is leaving the agency at the beginning of the year. Strickler has led the department for the past 6 years, making him the second longest serving ODOT director in state history. His last day with the agency is January 2nd. In a statement, Strickler wrote, "The decision to leave ODOT did not come easily to me, but with the funding for the maintenance and operations of our transportation system secured, now is the time for new leadership to lead ODOT's next chapter."
Local healthcare workers are gearing up for flu season, so leaders at OHSU say last year was the worst flu season they've ever seen.
And they're also concerned this year could be just as bad. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz has more.
The biggest tips to stay safe are always the easiest and the ones that we already know about. If you need to cough or sneeze, do so in your arm. Always wash your hands frequently, and if you feel sick, just stay home. Now, these recommendations come as vaccine skepticism has risen over the past few years, though doctors say it's really important to get those shots, especially for young kids, elderly people, and those who are immunocompromised. Last year, doctors say many OHSU hospital beds were taken up by kids with respiratory viruses over the winter months, making it more challenging for doctors to provide adequate care to all patients, which is why they're urging everyone to take precautions.
When I walk the halls of the hospital, including the ICU, during respiratory season, I see room after room after room of children who are hospitalized with respiratory viruses.
Dr. Don Nolt says vaccines are easy to get. Many insurance companies cover the shots. If you have a primary care doctor, ask them how to get the vaccine. You can also go to the Oregon Health Authority website, and Nolt says they have great services there where you can look down the website to see who is offering flu vaccines and where you can get those for free. She says if you're skeptical about these vaccines as well, talk to a primary care doctor and they can walk you through why these are safe. At OHSU, Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
In other headlines this morning, an Oregon high school football coach in Toledo, who's also mayor of the town, is accused of slapping a student. We're talking about Rodney Cross, you see right here. He allegedly hit the student during a conversation in the school's gym on October 24th, and investigators say there's video that shows the slap. Cross was issued a criminal citation for harassment and is set for arraignment on Monday. We reached out to Cross, the Toledo city manager, and the Toledo school district, but so far we have not heard back.
Your time now is 8:39. Let's take a look at traffic with Chris McGinnis.
And it is a very, very slow morning commute, guys. Easily the slowest that we've had so far this week. 40 plus minutes at this hour still to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge out of Clark County. There's the live look right now up near Main Street. This is specifically at the Discovery Trail crossing. So again, slow and go from there all the way down over the bridge and into North Portland. Meanwhile, as we go a little wider, you can see there's a lot of red on the traffic map this morning. We'll zoom into another slow spot, which is actually getting a little bit better. This is out near the Bethany area. The inbound Highway 26 has improved a bit. I-5 through Tualatin has not. That is a very slow northbound commute right now to get you in from Wilsonville. We've been averaging between 55 and 60 minutes for the better part of 45 minutes for now. So a real slow drive out there in the rain this morning. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Chris. Still ahead, we meet a group of senior women who formed a boogie boarding club and are loving it. We'll be right back.
Hey, our team is always testing products. We only bring you the best, and this one is about your security, so you're gonna wanna listen up. The product is this, it's called Sight Bulb, and it's called that for good reason. It plugs into any light fixture, see that right there, like a light bulb, and you have an instant security camera. There's a break-in in the US every 26 seconds. Lights are great, but a security camera catches the bad guys in the act. Look at this video. You just plug it in outside to any fixture. You have an instant security camera with night vision, 360-degree views, motion sensing. It even has a built-in microphone, so you can listen to what's going on in your house when you're not there, and also talk if the bad guys are in there, or if you just wanna kind of watch your dog just hanging out, right? So I have one plugged in right over here as well, just to show you how this works. There's an SD card right in it, so it's all made in the USA, no things going up to the cloud. It's all stored right here. And come on in for a second, Bob. I want to show you, it connects to your app, so you can actually watch it anywhere. My cameraman Bob is here. Can you? That's what you see right on the app. Say hi, Bob. There you go, there's your hands. So this retails for $49.99 to $59.99, but we have a great deal for you today, 25% off. Think about the cost of home security. And by the way, no professional needed, no wiring. You screw this in and you're done. All you have to do is scan the QR code on your screen right now or go to shoptvdeals.com.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back. A women's bodyboarding group called the Wave Chasers is making waves in San Diego.
Any chance, and I hope there is there any chance that you would demonstrate what body surfing looks like atop this news desk?
Body surfing? I don't
Or
think I've done
bodyboarding? Bodyboarding? Come on.
Wait.
Use the entire desk.
Wait, what's happening? Okay.
I got you chair there.
There you go. Use the entirety of the desk. Go ahead.
Da-na-na-na.
Whoa, yeah, all right.
Da-na-na-na.
There it is. Bodyboarding on a Thursday morning. Now, the group that we're talking about here says they're trying to bring together women of all ages to enjoy the ocean. Oh my gosh, Brian, really? You didn't want to? Okay, there. Bodyboarding. Bodyboarding. The group says that they're bringing together women of all ages to enjoy the ocean and form lasting friendships. Take a look.
Sauntering the sand with swag. I want you to meet the Wave Chasers.
Sometimes literally up and down the coast.
For 71-year-old Lori Nickerson, bodyboarding is a team sport.
You know, coming alone and getting in the cold water is kind of not fun. But if you're coming and you know other people are going to show up, look at this. This is a normal day.
The Wave Chasers started more than 20 years ago with 5 members, and now sport more than 100.
The lifeguards, they know us because we're such a big group. They're always looking for us.
Kate Larson says an extra set of eyes helps her face fears.
You know, you don't want to be scared. That's the worst thing.
On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, they just show up.
You don't need makeup, you don't need to comb your hair.
Many of these women spotted the group on Facebook. 67-year-old Dora Clifford moved to San Diego without a single friend.
I thought, oh, that sounds like fun.
Dora couldn't believe it when she heard about the Wave Chasers' oldest member.
I was like, 92? Oh my God. I was like, dang, that is so beautiful. If she can do it, I want to.
Teruko Fong loves it when people dare to tell her she's too old.
Having fun.
About every 15 minutes, you'll hear these 2 words: party wave. Wipeout! Wipeouts aren't a barrier, and neither are special challenges.
I love it.
Carice Miller was born with cerebral palsy.
Don't give up and just try your best, and you can do what you put your mind and heart into.
Because take it from these ladies, you can chase waves.
Awesome, that's why we're here.
And dreams at any age.
It was great, refreshing.
Everyone in the group told me
Awesome.
there's an old lady inside of them. Fortunately, she doesn't like the water.
Oh, the old lady's got to stay outside while we're still having fun.
In the Zavoli zone,
You're swimming for fun! Oh my gosh, just love it! Yay!
Jeff Seville, CBS 8.
I want what she's having.
They called it bodyboarding, and I thought, I always call it boogie boarding. So I had to look it up, and it is the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Boogie boarding is bodyboarding, but apparently they started calling it boogie boarding because the first boogie board was called that, a boogie board.
Right.
It's almost like a Kleenex to a tissue. So it's like a brand name instead of a generic name.
Gotcha. I don't do cold water.
Neither do I.
So I'm out. Now, I love doing that stuff in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing
But
it.
San Diego, is
Well,
that
they
cold?
said in the winter, the water's cold. Yeah, it's not warm.
I don't do water, period.
Yeah.
All right.
I gotta have a warm. I gotta have warm water. All right, here's a look at our rain amount. Speaking of water, that's an easy transition. 59, 107-inch up in Astoria. You folks had some heavy rain pockets earlier this morning. Tillamook just shy of a quarter, but look at Portland down through Eugene, generally about 5 107-inch on average, we'll say. A little bit more up in Kelso, 14 107-inch. Growing reason to believe that the wettest part of our day is what we've been through this morning, with the hours of what for I-5 has been mostly in the valley, just kind of some gentle rain, but it's been steady, and Chris has been reporting on a lot of slowdowns across the area. The low driving all this and pushing heavy rain into California is producing a flow pattern that brings the rain showers from south to north, or the rainy areas from south to north up to our area. But look at the dry break, and Futurecast backs this up. So this is 8 o'clock, but now here we are at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So this backs up what we're seeing in real life, if you will, that we're getting now into some dry time and really going through the afternoon, if this is correct. While there will be some scattered showers, there won't be a lot of rain. And we'll have a lot more dry time than wet time all the way into the evening. And then here's tomorrow morning. Again, a lot of dry time with an ongoing threat of mostly some light showers. Remember, the shower pattern was supposed to return last night into this morning. We'll check. That has happened. And now we're not expecting any hefty rain totals between now and Sunday for the valley. Now, Astoria, you've already had, what, about 610, 65, 107 inch. This says you add an inch to that between now and Sunday. And in Portland, this still shows on average, I think, about a half of an inch of rain, which is now what actually most of the models do in fact show for totals today through Sunday, which, you know, that's not much. That's maybe one day gets a couple tenths of an inch of rain. Tomorrow, maybe less than 1/100ths of an inch of rain. We're seeing some brightness overall in Lincoln City. Again, this is to our south, and we've got that drying coming up. All of our cameras show wet concrete. There's the Oregon Zoo. There's the Christmas tree. Temperatures on the square downtown. Temperatures about 50 right now. We get up to 60 for high, and you can see the mild, wet at times weather through the weekend. It is birthday time. Birthdays. Our party starts with Braylon, who is 8 today. Happy birthday, Braylon. Noah in Sublimity, but we're in the state in Jersey there. 11 today. Happy birthday. Acacia in Baker City celebrating 20. Looks like she's a Seahawks fan there in the background. And Susan, 84 today down in Wilsonville. Hope you have a fun day today. That's our list. Birthdays at KGW.com, and we will celebrate with you. Here's Chris.
Rod, it's been a rough commute out there in the rain this morning. There's one trouble spot. That's the Banfield, westbound I-84, not far from Providence Medical Center, which is over on the left-hand side of your screen. Westbound right lane still blocked. How about this? We'll zip on down to Tualatin. Nothing fast about this commute right now from Wilsonville to Tualatin specifically. Speed sensors indicate 10 to 12 miles an hour through that stretch of freeway. So with that in mind, the drive-in from Wilsonville is still 56 minutes at last check. And as we go up into Clark County, we're still pretty heavy from Main Street all the way down to the Interstate Bridge. That drive from Hazeldale is basically about 40 minutes to get you down to the Fremont. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
In a wrap of our top stories this morning, the federal government is up and running again this morning after the House and President Donald Trump passed a funding bill last night, ending the government shutdown. A spokesperson for the USDA says that most states would get the funds needed to reload SNAP benefits within 24 hours of the shutdown ending. Airlines will need about a week, though, to return to normal, and the bill does not include an extension of Obamacare. Portland City Council has shot down an idea to cut back funding for homeless camp removals. The proposal, introduced by Councilor Angelita Murillo, would have cut $4.3 million from the Impact Reduction Program to try and reduce the number of sweeps that she says are traumatizing for those who live in camps. But good news if you drive on Highway 217 after 4 years and $174 million. The upgrades to the highway are finished. ODOT replaced short merging lanes with auxiliary lanes in hopes of reducing a notorious bottleneck. It also made improvements to several overpasses.
Huh. China said auxiliary.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
that
said
was
it
well
well.
done, actually.
Thanks, guys.
Inside. 60 degrees today. Maybe we get that warm. We're in the low 50s right now. We have some drying working up into Salem, and eventually Portland starts to dry out this morning. Still some scattered showers this afternoon, but Chris, probably the wettest part of our day is what's coming to an end.
And so every one of those cars on those cameras blame you for their predicament this morning, I guess.
Blamed before.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? Your drive time's not good right now. I-5 from Wilsonville takes the cake. 55 minutes right now to get to from Wilsonville. ODOT's reporting a crash northbound in the Terwilliger curves. I don't see it on camera, but one lane is blocked, and obviously traffic's still really slow there. And we're not done with the drive out of Clark County yet either. In fact, that lineup starts just south of Main Street on I-5.
All right, I have not been here the last 3 days, so you guys will have to confirm whether all this info is true.
Right.
I do know this, more northern lights spotted across the country last night, overnight.
Whoa.
Colorado to central Washington, yeah, some incredible colors last night. Now, I was told that several people in our area said that they saw the lights here or around here on Tuesday night.
Yeah, we had those on the show yesterday morning.
Okay,
Yeah.
so more cloud cover, I guess, came in yesterday. It kept us from seeing anything.
Last night, yeah.
Last night. Rod, I'm told to ask you, any chance of us seeing northern lights in these parts tonight?
Well, the bullseye nights are supposed to be 2 nights ago and last night. The clouds could thin at times tonight, though. We'll see.
We'll get the thinning because we won't get the lights. That's how that works. If the lights were powerful and strong, we'd have the clouds. Well, on that high note, we say goodbye. Sunrise Show shutting down for a Thursday.
We inspired
Oh,
you.
man, goodness.
We're going to be back tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, we are. And guess what tomorrow is, gang?
Auxiliary.
It's an Auxiliary Friday.
Auxiliary. Take that, boys.